Hi, my name's Aimee, and I donated a kidney to my mother about a year ago. I ultimately decided to donate a kidney to my mother because her heart's function started dropping as a result of a fluid buildup on her lungs because of PD dialysis, and this meant that she was now in a position where she would not be eligible to receive a transplant because of her heart's condition. And so I then decided that I didn't want this for my mother and I needed to act now, and I decided to donate. As I was being rolled into the operating room, I was thinking a lot of things. I was feeling a lot of things as well. I wondered if I would be able to see my parents again, to be able to go home. Would I have a successful operation? Would my mother be okay with the kidney work? Um, would her body reject my kidney? I was very afraid. I was very anxious, and I feared the unknown. I had never had an operation before, so I had no idea what to expect. So it was a very overwhelming, quiet moments that I had before the operation. The best moments after my surgery was a mixed emotions experience. At the same time, after I'd woken up, I was quite afraid to see my mom face to face, knowing that she had gone through probably the biggest, surgery of her life. And facing that for me was just, it was too overwhelming to just see her. But at the same time, it was like hearing that the operation went well, that she was in a good state, that her body accepted the kidney and there was no delay in the time. And I was quite overwhelmed. It was just an overwhelming moment for me. So just realizing as well that the operation was successful and that she is in a better position that she was going into the operation. My recovery time was about 6 weeks until I then was able to go back to my normal self. And the level of pain that I experienced was, I barely had any pain. After donating a kidney, my health saw no significant change, as from the time my mother was diagnosed with this disease, she made it a point to make sure that we are aware of what foods we are putting in to instill healthy eating habits and be physically healthy as well. So there was no change that I experienced other than I just had to become a bit more aware of the amount of sugar and salt that I was consuming, and I had to increase my water intake. And then as far as my life has changed, or if there is any difference, I do think that I am a bit more aware of, chronic illnesses, and I do show a bit more empathy to those who go through these processes and, these journeys, as it is something that has an effect on not just the immediate family, the extended family, but as far as friends. Looking back, the best part about donating a kidney is the fact that a year later, my mother is still here. She is not on dialysis. She's not having to, every 4 hours, remove the fluid from her tummy and put in more fluid. She can live her life as free as she's been living it, go where she would like to go, do the things that she would like to do, and not be governed by having to come home constantly to dialyze. That for me is the best part of it all, having my mother today by my side. The best advice I could give someone else who is thinking about being a living donor is that there's nothing more rewarding and fulfilling knowing that you have significantly contributed to bettering somebody else's quality of life as well as their longevity. There is such a feeling that comes knowing that you have improved it, that they are living, they are breathing, they are not on dialysis. There's nothing that ever comes close to that. And then the last thing that I'd like to add to what I've already mentioned is that I decided to start an Instagram page known as Young Kidney Donors after having gone through the whole process. And I strongly believed that in me sharing my story of kidney donation, that others would become aware of what the process is like and what is life like living with one kidney, because I myself felt very isolated. I had many questions that had gone unanswered because I wasn't able to speak to someone who had been through the process. So I didn't want it to be something that happened to me and life goes on. I wanted to do something about it, make others more aware about it, so that they could maybe be moved to share their